What's up, guys? This is your boys here at RDM2120. We're coming at you now with an Evilswarm deck profile.
Okay, so we'll start off with 3 Evilswarm Castor. He's your double summon of the deck. Really hard to stop. Opening him first turn with another Evilswarm gets you automatic Ophion. Like, your opponent can't really do anything if you've gone first to stop your Ophion. 3 Mandragora, Cyber Dragon in the deck. I love 3 of them. It just makes up for some awesome plays. Like if you're going second, you don't have Castor, makes good plays there. If you're behind at any stage of the game, it gives you some board presence, like without wasting your normal summon. And it's an Evilswarm. 2 Kerykeion. I tested 3 for a long time, and I hated it with a passion because I hated opening them early, because opening with these in your opening hand was really lackluster, and it didn't do anything. It just kind of sat there. And you didn't really want to use this for an Exceed summon early because you wanted to draw into it after you've already Exceed. 3 Thunderbird. This kind of had the same thing with Kerykeion. The only difference between Kerykeion and this is this can actually stand alone by itself effectively. So that's why there's 3 of this and only 2 Kerykeion. Plus, if you run the trap, you can search for your Kerykeions whenever you need them. And this gets big and people hate it.
With a passion.
The vanilla, because Heliotrope, you need him for Bunny. That's the only reason why you really run him. Otherwise, I'd run Salamandra. I like Salamandra more.
Why don't you run Salamandra now?
Because Bunny. Oh. Bunny makes better plays. Bunny, because he's Bunny. He gives you your first turn Exceeds really easily. He is susceptible to Veiler and all that crap, but still he's good. Speaking of Veiler, I main 2 Veiler along with 2 Maxx because I like hand traps this format, and this deck has consistency issues sometimes, so the Maxx really help out with that. 1 Reinforcement of the Army, Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, and Book of Moon. They're my one-ofs because they're really good. RotA searches you, your Castor, Reborn's Reborn, Heavy's Heavy. If you don't know what these 2 do, then you should look them up. And Book of Moon, it's amazing. It turns cards off. It allows you to run over cards you normally wouldn't be able to run over. It's a good card. And it stops your opponent's Succeed plays. And then I'm running triple Pandemic. I might cut this down to 2, depends on how the format goes. 3 is good for protection, but I may end up siding 3rd.
What would you put in?
I have no idea. Probably, as I said, it depends on how the format goes. It would depend on what I need. Maybe more effect negation, maybe more anti-special summon, dragon, and spellbook hate.
Safe zone and Keymaster?
Yeah, safe zone or vanity's emptiness. Forbidden Dress, I like 2. I don't like 3. It clogs, but it's a really good card. 2. Then for the traps and infection, because it's amazing, you get to constantly recycle through your resources, get the ones you want, and it fixes up your hand. And there's not very many MSTs running around right now. Most people are just maining the heavy, which means you don't really need more than 1 of these at any time. The Solemn Duo, because the Solemn Duo, they negate stuff. They can win games by themselves if you use them at the right time. 2 Torrential Tributes, because Torrential Tribute's like one of the best traps this format. It stops your opponents when they're trying to do all their mass summons. If they've overextended, it punishes them. And it works really well with this deck with Pandemic. You can plus so hard off this in Pandemic.
Or Thunderbird.
Yeah, or Thunderbird. Mirror Force, I'm going to be probably sideboarding this with my other Mirror Force because I like Dark Illusion more. But it's good against rogue matchups and Constellars and Fire Fists, which this deck has issues with, and Mirror Force is good against those decks. Dark Illusion, I tried running this I used to run this at 3 when I started playing the deck on Dueling Network when it was first released. Then I found out Dress was a card, so I ran 3 Dress. I didn't like 3 Dress, so I cut it down to 2, and then I found out about this card again because I saw it in like a drawer, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should use this. And I want to get a second one, but no one ever has them. 2 Fiendish Chain, Effect Negation. Yeah, I shouldn't really need to explain Fiendish Chain. And then 2 Memory Loss. This card's really good. It lets Ophion beat over monsters it normally wouldn't beat over, and that's really helpful. I like it more than Breakthrough Skill in this deck because, unlike E-Dragons or something, this deck doesn't actually need to turn anything off to go off on its plays. So this card just does more because if your opponent goes Drago Sack, you can go Memory Loss, turn it to defense position, go into Ophion, run it over, and then they're going to be in trouble during their next turn because they don't have a Drago Sack to sit on, and you are now sitting on an Ophion, and they've probably used resources to get that Drago Sack. And then that's the main board. It's 40 cards.
20 monster.
20 monsters, like 9 spells, and then I think it's 11 traps. Now onto the extra deck. Triple Ophion. I feel like you need 3 right now. You can't really get away with 2 anymore. It's too good. You can go through all 3 of these in a game. I've done it many, many times. Not even just because your opponent keeps on blowing it up, but just because if you have 2 of them on the board against a deck that really does not like Ophion, like E-Drags, you've pretty much won the game because they may have an answer to 1 Ophion, but if you have 2 Ophions on board, that's a really hard field for them to get over. But yeah, this card's really good, and it searches and protects itself. 1 Evilswarm Ouroboros, because I love this card. It wins games, especially against the rogue matchups. He's big. I just like him, and he's really versatile in what he can do. 1 Bahamut. I cut the second one for the Ouroboros because I found he was really resource hungry, and the amount of times in the mirror where I'd go into more than 1 Bahamut was really low, and that's really the only reason why you'd ever want to run more than 1 Bahamut, because of the mirror. But against the mirror, half the time I would just end up going into Ouroboros, taking a card out of their hand if they had a low hand count, and then just running over their Bahamut, and then they couldn't do anything. But Bahamut's still a good card, so that's why I like it. Thanatos really helps out versus Fire Fists, and if you have things like Dress and stuff, he can help out against like Constellars because he doesn't get hurt by
Well, it helps against everything, really.
Yeah, you can win games simply by sitting on this card and back row. Like, I've beaten Mermail players with this card alone. Nightmare. Nightmare is so good. Again, helps out with rogue decks, helps out with a lot of decks that spam special summons, like wind-ups, which this deck has trouble with. It helps against Madolches, really anything, because he's also got 1950 defense, and it's kind of hard to get over for most decks without special summoning. Emeral, he recycles stuff. That's pretty much all he does. He recycles and gives you free Xyz plays with his effects. Abyss Dweller, Mermails. Like, I like against Mermails, if I have a good enough hand, I'll go into Abyss Dweller and then sit on Abyss Dweller with some back row first, and then go into the Ophion next, and then they pretty much lose after that. Djinn. Maestroke is just really good in the mirror, especially. He's also good against other things, like if you can't risk going for Ophion, you can go into Maestroke, and it'll generally, if you need a monster off the board, it'll pretty much get it off of it as easily as Ophion will. Gemini Pearl. This is pretty much exclusive for the mirror match. A lot of decks are running things like Fiendish Chains and Breakthrough Skills, and Maestroke gets hit by those. Pearl doesn't. So, yeah. It's 2600. Shockmaster, it like rapes every deck of the format. You know what deck they're playing, you summon Shockmaster, you call exactly what they are, so like Mermails and E-Drags, you call monster effects, spellbooks, you call spells, and then you pretty much just proceed to win. This is a tech because I have space right now, and this card beats a lot, like it beats battling boxers, because when you bring this guy out, you negate all their lead yokes, and then you just copy lead yoke, and if they have mirror force or anything like that, and they try to use it on him, he'll save himself, gain 800 permanently. Keep that in mind, he does keep the 800. And the lead yokes have their effect negated, so you can just destroy them.
Also good against that E-Dragons.
Yeah, you can copy their
Draco Sack or Big
Eye. Another thing is it's good against the mirror match, because if you go into it, you negate all their Xyz monsters, and then you can say copy Ophion's effect. He becomes Ophion, so you detach to search for Pandemic, and then you attack, and you have Pandemic to protect him because his name is Evilswarm Ophion for the turn. Utopia, it's not going to stay in here. It's just here because I have space, and
Keymaster Beetle.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. I'm going to turn this into Keymaster Beetle, because Keymaster Beetle, Vanities, Emptiness, and Safe Zone, if you get all three of those out on the board,
means GG.
It's pretty much GG. You can't kill the Keymaster. The Keymaster protects the Vanities and the Safe Zone, so it's pretty much GG after that. And then Blade Armor Ninja, I'm turning this into Black Ship of Corn. It's just in here because I have 2 casters, and I've won a game or 2 because of it. If they're like low and they have a clear board, and I can go caster into this, and then just hit them for 44. And then, yeah,
alright,
that's the deck.
That's Evilswarms for you. There will be a deck list down below in the description. Alright.